Here's Clare Mulley from Save the Children.
Thank you very much, Che. What a brilliant talk. Mine is going to be not terribly serious, but perhaps a little bit more serious than Che's talk there. I'd just like to say that I am probably going to be your key contact at Save the Children, but we do have a kind of core crew in Camberwell in South London, and that's myself, a lady called Judy Rudolph, who was the crew volunteer coordinator for the BT Global Challenge, so she knows all about the race, and she's looking after publicity for the Challenge 2000, and we're recruiting another person to look after you crew for the Challenge 2000 as well, so there's quite a few of us down in Camberwell if you need to get in touch. And you don't know me, but I already know a couple of your names, and I want to just start off by saying thank you very much to a couple of people here. Joe Langford, I don't know where you are, but has already banked £500 for Save the Children, which I just think is incredible. We've hardly taken off, and already someone's put some money in, so thank you very much, Joe. And also, we know that David Passman and Archie Carr have got some events planned, so whoever you are, thank you very much. It's a brilliant way to start off the race. Save the Children. I've got a few bits and bobs. This is the image that you probably know of Save the Children. We're most famous probably for our work in emergency relief. We've done a lot of work in Africa recently, in Liberia with the troubles out there. And we also worked a lot in Bosnia, which got quite a lot of publicity. But in fact, we focus most of our work on long-term development work. We work in over 60 countries around the world, and we do work in each of the ports of call of the Challenge 2000. And hopefully we're going to be able to organise some project visits for people when they come into South Africa and into Brazil, and probably organise something in America as well. So I hope that you get to see some of the work. We're also well known, of course, for being the Challenge 2000 charity. And I must say, it's just a really fantastic project to work on. I think I'm the envy of all of my colleagues, because we're the people who have been getting faxes and telephone calls from people in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. We've been able to watch it on the television. It's really fantastic for Save the Children. I'm delighted to be working on this and to meet you all. I thought I should give a little bit of an overview on the way that we're connected with the races. Of course, you know that Her Royal Highness Royal Princess Anne is patron of the race, and she's also president of Save the Children. She does a fantastic amount of work for us. And I must say that Che has also done a fantastic amount of work for us as well. Che has been a fantastic supporter, and I'm delighted to say that through selecting Save the Children to be the official race charity and his introductions to other companies for us, Che's enabled Save the Children to have raised £1 million, which is just a fantastic achievement. So I just want to say thank you very much, Che. My next bit of paper, I don't know if everyone will be able to see this, but I will be around in the break, so do come and have a chat to me and ask me questions. But this gives a breakdown of how the money is raised, and that's probably what I'm going to focus on today. It's really incredible that the race, the BT Global Challenge to date, has now raised over 480, nearly £500,000, £500,000, and hopefully by September we'll achieve that total. Just an incredible amount to have been raised. The way that this has been raised is a number of different ways, as Che mentioned. There's an annual ball from which Save the Children has been the beneficiary. We have an auction and a raffle, things like that. The 3 annual balls of the BT Global Challenge have raised just under £70,000, but we've got the next one coming up in September. The yacht sponsors, some of these have selected to raise funds for Save the Children, and this is their staff being involved on land staff fundraising campaigns. Commercial Union, fantastic, £72,000. Serco, whose yacht the kids you saw on the slide a minute ago, they dedicated their boat to Save the Children, raised £340,000, and Group 4 made £300,000. These 2 companies are not included in the total because they chose to become corporate members of Save the Children. So in fact, the total of the race is a lot higher than the £500,000. Other yacht sponsors obviously raise money for other charities. I can see someone in a Royal British Legion shirt, and we're delighted to work with other groups as well. Business club members also contributed to the total. There was an affinity card that you may well see. Che did a lecture tour for us, raised £4,000, thanks Che. And global fundraising, we fundraised in other ports of call. But you'll see here that the crew volunteers last year, in the last race, have raised so far £282,782. A phenomenal amount of money, and these are people just like yourselves and the leggers as well. Really, really fantastic dedication. And they've done it in an amazing amount of ways and with real spirit. It's been very motivating for us, and we've joined in some of the ways they've raised that money. I'll talk about that in a minute. We haven't set a target for Challenge 2000 for fundraising, but it's an exciting race. It's the big one. It's the Millennium Race to see in the century. It's going to be bigger in terms of being more global, and it fits nicely in the time that Save the Children is expanding globally as well. We're actually a member of an international alliance of Save the Children funds, and for those of you on video, we do have people in Australia and New Zealand and in America who will be working with Crew volunteers overseas to help you meet your fundraising targets and your birth money. And I've been trying to practice this on the train coming up. I can't really say it. 1 million for the millennium. That's what I want to say. I think that would be a wonderful total. So it'd be marvellous if we could work together to try and achieve something like that. And this is how we're hoping to do it. There are a number of ways that Save the Children can help you raise your birth, and I'm sure you're interested in this. So I've got something on each of them. The first one is through the association with Save the Children's name and logo. You can also see plastered on me today. Never miss an opportunity. Last year, the Crew volunteers found that one of the best ways to fundraise was to give a percentage of everything that they did to Save the Children. So they didn't raise £500 first for Save the Children and then raise their birth money or their birth money first and what have you. They said that 50% or 10% or whatever they chose would go to Save the Children of all activities. And that way they got a lot of company support, their friends and family, and everyone joined in because they knew that some of it was going towards the charity. So that's the first way. Secondly, funding themes. I've brought along some photos. Again, you won't be able to see these so well now, but do come find me later. As I said, we've got projects in all the countries around the world that you'll be visiting, but the funding theme that I thought I'd bring up today is water, obviously connected to the race. This is a well being drilled in Zimbabwe. We've got a borehole in Burkina Faso, and a picture of a Peruvian lady. The boat that she's paddling was bought with funds raised by the BT Global Challenge, and she is actually going to take medicines and supplies to very remote communities in the Amazon jungle. And I'd just like to say how little money it takes to actually fund some of these projects. Here we have them. Sorry about this. I was going to have them on a pinboard, but my train got delayed. It takes only £90 to repair a broken down pump in Burkina Faso, which can keep a village going in water. That's not a lot of money. £302 will buy that 10-metre wooden boat that you saw in Peru, and £1,200 is enough to build from scratch a deep borehole to ground level in Zimbabwe, which will keep a village in water ongoing. So really, the amount of money that we've raised here, nearly £500,000, you can see just how far that can go and how much good work that can help to accomplish. So having good funding themes, maybe thinking of an idea of a way that you want to spend your money, and I can provide you with details on particular projects that you might like to adopt in your fundraising. We also provide, on a more practical level, a fundraising pack to help you guys. This is an example of that, our How to Fundraise guide, and this has been put together specifically for Challenge 2000. Some people here may already have received one of these. If you haven't, and you'd like to work with Save the Children to help raise your birth and your funds, please give me a call or get in touch at Save the Children, and we'll send one of these out to you along with some other information. And basically, this has got a whole load of ideas on different fundraising activities and events that you could do, examples of things other people have done. It shows you how to generate ideas, how to put together a committee and work with other people and get them enthused, and ideas on publicity. It's got a draft press release in here, it's got a sponsorship form, everything you need, an emergency pack. So that's very helpful. I think that went down quite well in the last challenge, so please get in touch with one of those. And the other thing we do is we have a load of merchandise, and we're going to actually be getting some merchandise together specifically for Challenge 2000. We've got T-shirts. This is an extra large. These come in 2 sizes. Some of you will probably like to have the extra larges, and some of you will like to know there's a children's size as well, which is a bit more poppy, which is what I've got on. This is for up to 8 years only, but there you go. So you can have T-shirts. We've got lovely tea towels. We've got them in white as well. We've got a whole load of stuff. We've got pin badges. In fact, last year, Serco created their own image. These characters here are called the fundraisers. They are sort of like our colourful logos. And Serco, you see, branded their boat, the kids, and put one of these into a pirate, and they did their own pin badges. They went very well. So we've got mugs and T-shirts and pin badges, all sorts of things that you can sell on and send us back the remainder stuff. We also produce a newsletter called Sale Mail. I've got some examples of those, which I'll show later if people want to catch me. And these come out about 4 times a year, and they go to all of the crew volunteers and the leggers. And basically, they act as a way to keep everyone in touch with each other. We have writing on our programme work, on our projects that you can fundraise around. It has what everyone's up to, acts as an ideas exchange, and if you want to challenge other people to fundraise money, people did that last year through the sale mail, or just sort of exchange ideas. It's all in there. So if you do get in touch with us through a pack, we'll put you on the mailing list for that as well. And the first one of those will be coming out in October for Challenge 2000. And the last thing that we do is that we get involved. We're here to help. We're always at the end of the telephone. If you want to give me a ring at any time, I'll be there. My colleagues, they all know the race. They'd love to help you as well. So do get in touch with us. If you're doing a very big event, we'll probably help you with some publicity and maybe get some celebrities down there, that sort of thing as well. One of our star fundraisers from the BT Global Challenge, a bloke called Jim Lacey from Rover, organised an abseil down the BT building, not the tower, the building, which is high enough, 11 stories, and I threw myself off that as well in the spirit of comradeship and the BT Global Challenge. So if I'm mad enough to jump off a building in aid of this, I'm sure that I'll do it with you again in the future sometime. I thought it might be helpful to say a couple of the other things that people organised the BT Global Challenge and what worked very well. Some people focused on just one big event or a couple of big events. Last year, somebody organised a party in Fulham Town Hall for all the crew volunteers, and that was quite a night, as Che and I remember. But that raised £5,000 in one night. It was just fantastic. Somebody else organised a cross-channel swim, in case you fall out of your boat, a good bit of practice there. Someone from Land Rover, Jim Lacey as well, actually organised a tour around all the Land Rover franchises in Europe and fundraised at every site, which was pretty fantastic. People do quite traditional things like London to Paris bike rides. Someone last year did the London Paris bike ride with a couple of friends and cunningly got their company to match the funds that they raised. That raised £12,000 in a weekend. Just brilliant. This money can be raised, and it can be done in quite fun ways. Some people took very alternative routes. I think the wackiest way someone made money last year was by getting used tissue boxes and converting them into toy sofas and selling them. Sounded bizarre to me, but you made £500 no problem. So there's loads of ideas out there, and I'm a big database of that. Finally, of course, Save the Children does want something from you guys as well, and you'll know what that is. We've tried going to Barclays as well. It's not worked. So we want your money, please. Obviously, we want you to raise your cash for us, if you can. Send it over to Save the Children, mark for my attention. We'll keep your totals running in sale mail if you like, so everyone knows how far you're going and what you're doing. And we'll also ask from you to send us in regular updates of what you've got planned so that we can let everyone know what's happening and everyone can get involved. Also, we'd ask you to send back any unused merchandise or anything that you don't use, come back with any criticisms or any suggestions, and basically get in touch and talk to us, because we can't phone all of you every week, so do get in touch with me. And do send back anything that you don't use. We are a very cost-effective charity. We have got one of the lowest cost-income ratios of British charities, and we're very proud to say that 90 pence of every pound that you raise does go directly on our programme work. And that's the sort of money that can make you feel proud when you think of what you're raising and what it will go towards. I've got one more picture to show you. This is a picture of another boat trip. It's quite different from the Challenge 2000 boat trip. This was a picture done by a little boy called Zaid Abdi Zaid, who was a Somali refugee. He's only 14. He drew this. And this is when he had to leave Somalia as a refugee on a boat packed with other people. This is an aerial shot of his boat, and these are all heads of the other people crammed on board. It's quite sad, although he's okay now. He says here, I'll just read it. "We had to pay to go on this boat with many, many other people. It should have been fun, but the old people were sick and we were leaving our home behind. For one day, okay, but for 2 weeks." And then he just trailed off. This is the sort of thing that we're asking you to raise funds for. And I really hope that by having a good time going around the world in your boats, you'll help us work with children like this who've been through some very different experiences when they've had to go on trips across the oceans of the world. Thank you very much for listening to me.